Hey folks, we're back. A little bit of a quiet summer for us. Not the intended plan. We had hoped to keep on rolling videos, talking about what was going on with the shows and the various other projects and stuff, but gathering just ended up being quite busy. My actual day job was quite busy, and I spent a lot of time on retro ride stuff. That needed doing more than videos needed recording. So the gathering stuff we'll cover in a video Keith and I are going to record as a debrief. But broadly speaking, it was hard to talk about what was actually going to happen at gathering because we got thrown a few curveballs, and we didn't want to announce things and then disappoint people. We knew it was going to be good. We knew everything we were planning, regardless of what we actually got to do out of that list, was going to be great. But yeah, it was a little bit of a changeable feast. But yeah, we'll talk about that in the video, which should be coming out on Sunday, assuming I get that edited. The Club Retro Ride stuff is the thing that I spent most of my time doing. Anybody that's been a member or been around Club Retro Rides for a while will know that I struggle with the organising of that, and that boils down mainly to the software I'm using not being adequate for the job. So we've tried about 5 actually, because one of them didn't even get to live, systems over the last few years, and none of them are quite right. They all fill a hole, but then their flaws become apparent. The problem is their flaws become apparent a year or so into the system, and it's exactly what happened this time. But this time, instead of trying to find another inadequate piece of software, I've written my own. Not inadequate, but it's custom written for us. It works how I need it to work, so it should make all of the Club Retro Ride stuff work better, so I can spend more time doing forum and community and all of that kind of thing, rather than just trying to wrangle spreadsheets of usernames and stuff. So that's kind of the plan. So that's now live. That's on club.retro-rise.org. That goes some way to offsetting the costs of running the forum and the image hosting and all of that. Doesn't go all the way there, but that's fine. I'm hoping I can get it to replace the income that we get from ads, so I can remove the ads from the site. I don't like running ads. They just seem to be a bit of a necessary evil. The income from ads, though, is on a downward spiral across the internet. There will be repercussions for that for lots and lots of sites. I have thought about doing a video about that stuff. It's kind of only tangentially related to retro rides, but if people want my thoughts on the slow death spiral of the internet, I will more than happy give those thoughts. It's what I do for a day job. It's what I do for a hobby. So yeah. My little bit to try and counteract that is the directory. The directory for Retro Rides is live. It is going to end up with a different name. The whole plan is to call it Launch Control Index. I wanted it slightly separated from Retro Rides because I think it needs to have a wider remit than just our stuff, not just in terms of needing more links and more content, but our area of the car community is actually fairly well serviced, but there are other communities that aren't. There's a wider car thing out there. So but it started with us, so that's predominantly what it is. So that's directory.retro-rise.org at the moment. It will always be there, but it will be branded slightly differently over time. That's been educational, putting that together. That's given me a kind of insight into the state of blogs and communities and the online space, and actually I think even more so the discoverability of stuff. I found some really interesting sites that I just never knew existed because I've gone out looking for them, but they've never surfaced just naturally through the forum or any of that kind of thing. So yeah, that's been interesting, and I know there's more out there. One of the things that's really missing, either it doesn't exist, so there's a space in the market for it, quote unquote. We'll do that in another video. There's a space for it. Is European car blogs. There appears to be not many, if any. unless you know about it, in which case message me or drop a comment below or something. I cannot find that many or any European-based car blogs. There's a bunch in America, there's a bunch in Japan, there's a few sort of spread around the world, but I've not really found much in the way of stuff in Europe, certainly not in the UK anymore. And we used to be like a hotbed for that stuff, so I think that's kind of disappointing, but also shows a little bit of the state of the internet at the moment. Again, without getting into the wider video and the wider problems of the open internet and the death of Google, we will continue looking for interesting websites and interesting blogs. So on top of the directory and the club stuff, I'm now back on to forum improvements as well. I've got like a list as long as your arm of things I need to do for the forum. Some of them are big, hairy, audacious things around grabbing all of the content and being able to, find, search maybe, but like just tag and all that kind of stuff, content, so that it's easier to find more build threads that you like and maybe some more conversations about stuff that you enjoy once you're like through with a thread. And that will have some other knock-on benefits as well, things we can do with that. But same time, look and feel needs to brush up. It still needs to work better on mobile. Like that's probably the immediate priority, is to get those things tighter so that the website is much more usable. There's a few bugs floating around as well. And again, if I get rid of the ads in the next sort of couple of months, that will free up space, so I don't have to consider ad space on the site, and that will change the relationship with the site. So yeah, lots of stuff going on there. We'll talk a bit more about show stuff. I know people probably primarily interested in show stuff. The show video is out for Gathering. That was a lot of fun. But yeah, we'll be discussing the show or shows in a video that'll be out on Sunday. So yeah, thank you for your time. I will see you on the forum. Send me your European car blogs if you know of any. Bye.